Wetambo tina sikochwe. Lekhatetse mo. Oliver Molosochi. Oliver Molosochi. Oliver Molosochi. Oliver Molosochi. Oliver wetambo tina sikochwe kaya. Oliver
Amandla awethu Matla. Long live the undying spirit of his Twalande and Mukiti Mlangeni. Long live. Long live the undying spirit of Ntate Mlangeni. Long live. Amandla. Kokela Ramaphosa, kokela. Pata Ramaphosa, pata. Pata ANC, pata. Ailaule ANC, ailaule. Amandla. Watinta bafazi. Watinti Mbogoto. Roar, young lions, roar. Roar, young lions, roar. Long live Veterans League, long live. Long live Veterans League, long live. Amandla. Thank you very much, program directors, Comrade McQueen, Treasurer of the Women's League, the Premier of the ANC in the Free State, and a member of the PC, I'm sure also the deployee to this region. Watinta bafazi, watinti Mbogoto, zagu fa finish and clear. The family of Comrade Andrew Langeni, I've seen Comrade Sillo Mlangeni. I've also seen the granddaughter Mpumi and the members of the family, Emma Mpumi, Twinya Ampiwe. So, Abdi Sillo, Gemurawan Tatem Langeni. Abdi Sillo was sitting on my neck to come here. And this event was postponed, I think twice. And then he called me. And then I told him, no, we can't have other activities of the ANC in the province, like election strategy and Runavernali lecture Yantatem Langeni, which was coinciding, I think, with the birthday or the celebration of 100 years of Istwaland. And then comrades had to agree. Comrade Toto Makume called me, the deputy chair of the province, and said that, no, I must come. We must proceed. The secretary of the region, Comrade Jeff, insisted I must come. And then Comrade Sillo insisted I must come. I said, no, comrades, let's wait. So the workshop of election passed, and then this weekend they said we will have this lecture. So I'm very much grateful to the comrades and the family for having observed important occasions in the organization up until we have this special event celebrating the lives and times of Comrade Ntate Mlangeni. There are many events that were organized, and Mpumi has been very central in ensuring that the legacy of Ntate Mlangeni is preserved. We have a WhatsApp group. I belong to the founding members of the Mlangeni Foundation, which was formed and pioneered by Sillo Rastab in Johannesburg, whilst Ntate was still alive. That foundation is still alive, and I want us to give Mpumi a good round of applause, because Mpumi has kept Ntate Mlangeni's legacy alive and ensuring that we don't forget. And then they organized a lecture. They wanted the president could not be there. They organized a lecture. They wanted Comrade Mbeki to be present. President Mbeki could not be present to do the lecture on the life of Comrade Andrew Mlangeni. But I think they don't give up, and I want to salute the region today, even Nawabata. I want to salute this region of Thabo Mofutsanyane, the entire REC. Akibua le makomrade mo abatsiburu Ntate Mlangeni una hlaile Bethlehem. Banana or kim tuwa Jozi. Le nna le ka osane le tlo nlatla le re ke motho wa Gauteng. Kati ke hlaetse maplasing a Freystata mo Dallasville. And then it tlabe se ke le jwetsa hore no mina ngiphume Soweto. Kati kwa ko Soweto le bo Gauteng re machipa. Rile ka mosebetsi. Impa lapeng ke mo Freystata. So I want to salute this region for keeping the memory of Ntate Mlangeni alive and organizing this occasion. Because this on its own is political education. Ke ka mokgwa o re ithutang ka teng ka pale le history ya mokgatlo wa rona. Hangata o organizwa di lecture tse be di organizwa ke batho ba ratang leqhoko. Utlwe ho thona le lecture, ha ona lecture. Ke mokete wa dikatse fela. Wa iketsetswa ke batho ba batlang ditulo. Ba sebedisa mabitso a baetapele ba rona ba hlomphehileng ska bo Ntate Mlangeni we promote. This is not about that. And I want you, comrades, to salute yourselves and give yourselves a good round of applause. Because this is what we expect from the structures of the organization, to keep the memory of our struggle alive. So, last week in the Eastern Cape, be ki bua ka Ntate o mongwe wa bolo. Ke re no ANC a tshwane le bolo eo. Yar e batho ba so le soyo. Ba la ba bokolla hore SG ing. Tloke le bolelle. Nna ke tsamaya molaong wa ANC. Ke kgethetswe ke le SG. I must tell you and instruct you when decisions are taken. It is there in the Constitution. Once they've debated and taken decisions, I must communicate. Jwale ne ke re le iketle hanyane ka ntwetsetsa boetapele. Hobane re tsietsing. Re tsietsi mo e leng hore re kana ra theoa le matleng a puso. Jwale re tshwantse re lwane ntwa ya khumamela re khutle ANC e khutlele maemong. O tla botsama mo nywe kgetheng. O tla kgethwa ke mang o sena ANC. ANC tswile maemong. O tsama o tletsi mona o bolela hore batho ba o kgethe. Ntwa o kgethuwa ka ra ANC ke ntho e nyane. Ene ne ke jwetsa maloko a ANC hore ikatleng pele ka ditulo bane re nkile qeto ra re ntho tsena re tla di bua ka nako ya teng e tshwanetseng. Ha jwale ha re sebetseng ho ha mokgatlo. We must build our organization, root and branch. And we must not kowtow other political parties. What they do, mukiting wa bona wa dikatsi. must not affect us. Runa, what must affect us is how we build a strong organization. That's what is important. We must build a strong African National Congress. Because the moment we are in now, we don't have the numbers. We don't have the numbers to maintain power to the ANC. Re tsama re kopa mo re kopa or no re tshelleng ngesixhosa kuthiwa siyancazelana akitsebi ka Sesotho ba re dula re kopa ore a re ke re kopantshe menwana re tsebe go tshwara masepala ke ye Thabo Mofutsanyana ke masepala o Maluti a Phofu ke mokete wa dikatse hua udimo le tlase mo re dula re kopa batho re no re tshwarisane ha re batla o tshwarisana re batla o laola yole re tla laola jwang ha re ngwapa re bua ka ntho tse seng ntho tsa bohlokwa ha nako le motsotso di fihlile re tla di bua ntho tse ha ebe di tshwantse di mathe di tlamatha di tlamatha sena ska ja mmayatela ha ebe ninga di a tshwana o matha re tshwantse re tsamaye re le kaofela o sena bohlokwa ba hore dipere di mathe le teng o tla be o lokile di tla tshwarisana batho ba kgathetse go dula ba mametse hore batho ba ANC ba lwanela ditulo batho ba batla o tseba hore re etellwa pele re ya kae le a bona le president wa rona o tisitse President Ramaphosa a robala ke ka o le nna ke mo bona ha ke re shame ke a tsoa le ka 12 be ke theoela ke re nke be ka hlolwa ke president a sebetsang ka thata tje no nkampa ka robala tseleng le mo Freestata ke a bona wa sebetswa ke tlile ka tsela mo ke tla ka dipaqama e kare ke motho a baleang di traffic copo tse dulang di kopa Coca-Cola wa di tseba a mfe Coke mo ke tlile ka paqama ma queen wa sebetsa ANC ya sebetsa ha ke re ke a tsama mo ditsela di kwetswe ditsela di a lokiswa bona ke mosebetsi fela construction ke batla le ikotlele matsoba ke mosebetsi o that is the work of the African National Congress o etella ntwe phelang le rona ya re khothatsa ntwe o bone ke tshwareile mo ke tlo fitla ka moranna go ke dula ke ema 20 minutes ditsela di a lokiswa o feta bo Henemane ke tsamaile le dibakeng tsa khale bo Arlington mo ne ke tsamateng ne ke na le nyanyaula mo Arlington mo khale ke sa le youth league ne ke na le motho a motle hampe ke so nyale ne ke ba ntse ba Arlington bana ba sa mpitse Razmataz lona ke ntho tsa no di Razmataz ke bua ka ntho tsa khale ne ke tsama mo Arlington ke feta mo ke dula matsatsi mo ke ANC ha o monnate Arlington ke batla o le jwetsa ke fitile mo ka sheko ke bona o lokiswa tsele yang Arlington ka re ke tla batla hore ke o feta mo ha ke tswa mo Bethlehem mo Yoale comrades ke mosebetsi o motle haholo ke yona ntho ANC re batlang eo o lokiswe ditsela o sebetswe ka thata wa bona ilare ke fitla mola Qwaqwa nako tsa o feta ke bone una le ba bang ebile ba tsamaile ka fitla mo o le obe o nkga sputa mo batho bao ba bang ba bona ba tentse ba itukisa mo le dibaiki ba re ba ka etsa ntho tse tswileng matsoho ba tsamaile ba ile nthong tse ntjha tse sena mo di lo fella teng di shwa every day ba santsane ba tlo di bitsa di press conference rona re eme ANC a se fashion ke ntwe thata e boima ha ba di bitsi di press conference ba tšhentšhana ka tsona motho o re ona kgethiwa le stulong a so qete le selemo sa tšhintšhuwa ke koyoko ntwe e eme ba shebile fela mokgatlo boima o ke mokgatlo wa bo Mlangeni o ntwe ke ntwa badimo le modimo e rapelletse ntwe yoales a re bua ka sekgowa re re kgothou re re ka Sesotho se tsepameng se feletseng ska la latella batho ba senang lefellang ba sa tsebeng gore ba lo fella kae ke a ba bona batho bao ba ema mo ba re ba ka etsa ntho e betere re lokisa bohlaswa le seputa se ba se sileng mo se ba se sileng qwaqwa mo re a lokisa jwale le tshwantse le ema ka maoto bomme le bonale wa bona le makhanselara a rona e ra re o file stulo o bonale gore motho e o ska tshwana le mabone ana ba re motho wa mmona sa le re o file stulo motho wa mmona fela ha o bone gore motho ena o tla fella kae jwale re tshwantse re sebeletse lekgotla batho ba sa sebetseng comrades ke bana ba dulang ka e le nngwe ba dulang di WhatsApp group ba dulang di WhatsApp group wa ba tseba batho ba dulang di WhatsApp group ha una branch ya ANC ko WhatsApp group ha o ka kena ko WhatsApp group o ka nana gore lekgotla le fedile gore ANC ha isa le le Facebook ha ba sebedisi o ba Facebook le Twitter o defender ANC ba dula ba nyefola ena o rwa molatella o lwanela stulo e kila ba le councilora ba hloleha o nyefola bao ba fueng monyetla le nna ke mongodi ka letsatsi le leng ke tlabe ke se mongodi ha o sa sebetse o dutseng ka e le nngwe o le WhatsApp group ntho o e etsang ko nyefola. When you are on WhatsApp group, the only thing you do, you become an armchair critic. And if you join WhatsApp groups, you can think that the revolution and the ANC is nowhere. You know, last week and this week, we just won by-elections in Mpumalanga. In Mpumalanga. In Langeni, overwhelmingly. Ba ya udimo le tlase mo ba itukisa ba utswitse le mabitso a rona gore ba utswitse ntho engwe le engwe ya ANC ba ya udimo le tlase ba ikgabisitse mo ya fitla ANC ya ba otla batho ba eme le mokgatlo wa lona hlomphang mokgatlo ha ona mo ba yang teng ha ba sisinyei ha ona ba mo yang teng jwale ke batla hore with that prelude a ke qetela le mo Free State le tswaole mo Free State le tswaolo jokong enkebeng ka ba ka e hlalosa wa bona batho ba kile ba tshwarwa hampe le ba se ba tswile tlatlapong hobane ba tlwaetse o tshwaruwa hampe ha ba bone le tsile tlatlapong e yang pele ha o sana motlatlapa mo a re sebeletse ANC le hae ANC Thabo Mofutsanyana le tloele be le la Jeff le la ntho e sa feleng o RC ntate leader RC le chairperson le dula le bokolla ye a ona motho a tla thula etelang pele lekgotla le sebeletse ANC le skala dula le bokolla se ba re motšhaotšhele ntho e sa feleng le fuwe matla ke makala gore le etelle lekgotla mo a le etelle pele le dula le lla comrades tloelang o lla sebetsang lla ka sebane bane mamang o etsala eng batho ba kebe ba tloela o bua wa bona motho a sa sebetseng o na le ditaba wa bona ke mo ka sheko I'm sure na le ditaba ka nna o re o ile a bo batla o ba president o sebedisa lebitso la Mlangeni ba entse lecturer mo ha o ba bone ibile ba banga ba fitla le o fitla ke ba bona ba fitla o bane ba dutsi ba na le dipuo le leqhoko le sa feleng swabisang satane sebeletsang ANC wa utlwisisa le sebeletse lekgotla ke ntwe Ramaphosa yetellang pele eo ha re tlo khutla maemong a re leng wona re dutse re phutile matsogo re llela se re sa tsebeng re tla khutla ka matla a setšhaba ka o iponatsa ka diketso tsa rona le o sebeletsa batho mesebetsi eo e tla re khutlisa pusong hore re be le matla ke yona ntho e tlo re khutlisa eo ha ona engwe le engwe e fetang eo ke ka o batho ha ba sa sebetse ba sa sebeletse lekgotla ba dula ba le di WhatsApp group ba nyefola a rena nako re tla ba reconfigure re ba fe matla re bitse ba bang ba tlo ba thusa o bana ba tlo sebetsa wa itseba reconfiguration re a o change mare singa holo anyana o bana wa ikemisetsa o sebetsa ene le sebetse o ya ka melao ya lekgotla wa bona le sebetse o ya ka melao ya lekgotla le sebeletse African National Congress so comrades tsa REC ya mofutsanyana re a le leboa re le lekgotla ka mosebetsi o le wentseng wa re le tlatse setšhaba se le ma comrade re tlo bua ka ntate Mlangeni re tlo bua ka ntate Mlangeni re hlompha dilemo haebe ne ngwana tla bana le rona you will be 100 years re tlo le tlhalosetsa ka sheko re ke mang ntate Mokete o tswa kae jwale bomme ba rona le batjha ba rona ke a le dumedisa le lona ke thabile a ola kutlwa o ti youth league e tswile bafumo o tshore re felletse women's league yona ke a tseba e temo ba kile ba mpitsa mole ra fitla ra tlatsa holo ntate o monga ba re wa tla ba hloleha lo tlatsa holo wathinta bafazi wathinta imbokodo zakufa finish and club ke leboa di veteran tsa rona youth league e etelletswe pele mo ke comrade Morena le women's league e etelletswe pele ke comrade Khoni Msipe and REC members and officials, the chairperson and the secretary of the region, and the comrades and the deployees of the province of the Free State, mayors and our councillors. Mayor tsa rona no tshwantse di sebetse kare di fellwa ke nako ba tla bua ka bo majoro na ona motho a ke ba ntlosa a ke le majoro because batho ba ne ba tla nsireletsa ba re ska ba la tacha majoro wa rona ha o le majoro o tshwantse o be majoro o tsama le lepato la ngwana o sa motsebeng o tsamaye ka ra batho mo o organize di tournament tsa bana ba bapale dipapadi o be busy la nkutla bo majoro le ma councilor ha o le councilor o be le councilor la setšhaba batho ba re o re a motseba o ska ba re ha re ya bathong re yo ba kopa re ba votele ANC ba re la tla la re thusa ha o botsa ka imba re ka yeo ha re tsebe le mofumana kae Ruketa o le councilora mo ka sheku ka o sane o tsoa o le toropong. Ha o sa dula mo ne rukhetile teng. Ha ba rukhetile o le mokhukhu ndula mokhukhu. O ska ba tšhentšha. Ene ke a tseba hore makhanselara a rona le bo majoro ba rona ba etsa mosebetsi o senang tanki. Ha o le councilor ha ona motho a tlo tla wena a fitla re ke a leboa ka mosebetsi o re etsetsang ona. Ha ayo. Wa bona McQueen ke premier wa rona wa sebetsa wa bona ditsela. Ho busy mo Free State. Ha ke atla ka N1 ke tsamaile mo ke tocha di traffic cop tsa di 15 rand tse. Ba dulang ba kopa coke. Ka iponela ka mahlo re ho theoetswe mo. Ha ke batle report o McQueen se ke ifumane report ke e bone. E tshware hona mo. Ha re tla re tlo kopa batho ba rona hore ba voutele ANC. Batho ba tshwanetse ba be ba etelletswe pele ke bo meyara le makhanselara. Diposo tseo ma comrade se tsa o khabisa. It's not decoration. Baba MBalula la qeta le sekolo motho re mo file poso mo ke le councilor. Unana hore ntho a poso ke qualification. Bo councilor a se qualification re o kadimme. Ha o le minister re o kadimme. Ha re a o fa ka baka la hore o ruteile o feta batho. Re o kadimilwe ke lekgotla le ka o sane re kana ra o tlosa. Nna nkile ka tloswa setulong ke le minister wa maponesa ke sebetsa ka thata. Ka tloswa ke ntate Ramaphosa mpitsa mara ntlosa monate. Ai mara ka utlwa ke na le kgwao mara ai ke tla etsa jwang banna ka ba ntwe a se a normalanga a se a mentwe. Ke kadimilwe a re ntate ne re kopa fela o ye kwa Luthuli House. Ke le minister a ndzemampe. Isi ministeranyana fela wa mapolisa. Sepolisa sa Afrika Borwa. Le nna ha ke tsamaya ke ikutlwa hore MBalula ke felletse. Ke bitswa ka nqena le ka nqena. Maritse mohlang o no thwe ke tlowe. Hey! Ya fitla kana ntwe ke ikadingwe. O bone batho bana re ba entse di mayor le makhanselara le di MEC le di premier a re ba tlosa banana hore ke ntwa lapeng. Bona ke a tseba o monate o tloswa ke tswa mo. Maro tshwantso amoele. Ore a go re nke ke emele thoko ke tla gutla. Ke tla gutla ka matla. O tshwane le sebapadi sa bolo se hlahlwa. Se leng hore no se bontsha coachara ka mesebetsi ya yona hore no ntwena ke a ka e. Ke a kgona ho bapala ntwena ba reng ke bolo. Le wena o filwe poso. O ska ba nana hore poso ye ha e sebeletswe. O ifuwe ke a hao ke title. It's not a title. President o tswa hodimo kwa kana o tlosa o le ministera le o sane. Ka tlasa mabaka itseng le tshusumeletso tse itseng. Ha o bolelle le o bolella hore o tlosetsa. Le wena o le mayor re ka tloa re jeka no ra re bona. A o hlehle kancane nje. Ene a re o kopi ra o tlosa. Haebe ne o tlile le kgotleng mo o tseba ntho e tletseng o kebe wa lla. O tla re no a ke emele thoko. Jwale o tshwantse o etse hore be boima hore batho ba ska ba fitlhella diqeto tseo. O iponatse hore o mafolofolo wa sebetsa o sebeletsa setjhaba. Le ha ba batla o tlosa re tla o sireletsa. Ra tseba mo motho na lo tloswa bosiu fela. Jwaleng ba kgotsi ba kopane o decide hore no a re motheole mtshana o sane. Ha o tsebe motho wa modimo o tlosetswang SG ba ntlosa mo ngwala le lengolo le segolo a se robeile mo o mmona hore ha sa bona le hantle mahlong. Ba ntlosa mo re tle re tlo thiba re o ra motseba wa sebetsa le motlosetsa. Ha e sa le yo ntwele mo ANC ure mayor a ka tloswa fela. tshwantse le ngolle hodimo kwa le tle le tlo hlalosetsa hore mayor le motlosetsa ha se ntho fela o ka nkang qeto ya teng fela e iketsetswa mo sentwe pele o notloswa fela bosiu ke bagotsi ba dumetse ba kopana di-committing ba re mayor haie jwale ha o tlosa mayor o tshwantse o re ngolle o tlo motivate hore why o batla o motlosa re dumellane le wena re le di-officials national ore o ka etsa ntho akukwazenzele apha kukwavula zibhuqa the center holds la e utlwa ntho ba reng center ya tshwara ha e tshware e tlohela mokete o wa o dula le tshosa baetapele ka di-conference o fedile kgale le a tseba pali ele kwana mona lesedi ba re ke sawasawana le mahutsana utlwe sawasawana re mahutsana mokete wa di-100 o fedile mokete wa dikatse o fedile nakong ya gona jwale tje ha o sana o iketsetsa mo ANC mo re laolwa ke renewal le ha o senya rurumme lo sebeletsa setjhaba wena o bokenya matsoa o thiling ha o qeta o tshwara be le apara t-shirt tsa lekgotla mo le lo bina into ayenza yo e fedile ntwe ha o nutswa ne re le siko ANC ya le roma hore le lo utswa itse le lo sebeletsa setjhaba haebe o tshweru ikemele o le mong rona re tla otla ka step ba re ke step aside o tla jiwa ke sona o emelle thoko anyane ka re mathata wa mangata le tloele o apara dituku le lo binela mashodu di khotho kwa le fasitse tuku ya ANC lo binela motho ha o tsebe o runa etsang ona o bitsitse ha utswa utlwe batho ba re no there is a political agenda re tsebela ka political agenda ha re tsebe e tlhalosetse wena mo pela magistrate or judge ore o tlile jwang be nthontse mpe ha kana kana jwale ke batla o tlhalosetsa ema comrade ore o ya pele ANC e ntshitse lenane tsamaiso la ntšhafatso ya lekgotla ba re ke renewal agenda of the African National Congress. Comrades, ke ne ke batla o le fafatla fela hanyane ore le kgone o nkutlwisisa ore re o kae mo re emeng teng mo re leng teng o batla la ore re tshwaragane re be ngatana ile nngwe ANC mo e leng teng e maemong a tlokotsi ka sekgowa ba e bitsa ka hore ke existential crisis haebe re sa hlokomele re tla iphumana re wetse ka lengopeng jwale o batla hore e mong le e mong a ra rona mo a itlhatlhobe ha re tlo bua ka senatla se tshwanang le ntate Mlangeni re tshwanetse re tsebe hore re bo mang hobane le rona kaofela re le mo ha re bua ka ntate Mlangeni re tlo intlafatsa bo ntate Mlangeni ke batho bana ka hare ho lekgotla le baetapele ba re ba bitsang ka hore they are tried and tested azange ba rekisa azange ba utswa all what they did was to sacrifice for us to be free even when they were facing death azange ba sheba morao they went to Robben Island came back even stronger for us to be free and today we say freedom was not free because of people like them. And that is why we as younger generations in the ANC, we must be truthful to the actions of people like Ntate Mlangeni, who stood for us to be free, sacrificed everything, family, good life, everything. Today we can dance, we can do everything. We can live freely in a democratic South Africa. because there were people like him, Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Governor Mbeki, Ahmed Kathrada, Wilton Mkwai. It is because of them that today we stand tall in these podiums and have the liberty to talk about freedom and what freedom means to us. And that is why in our party, in our organization, in our movement, we must be truthful to each other. Even when we do things, even if the truth will make us lose friends. And that is why the path to renewal is not going to be easy. It is not easy even now in terms of what we want to achieve as a movement. Oliver Tambo says that a revolutionary must be distinguishable from a criminal and a vigilante. Meaning, you who represent the ANC, in your deeds and the things that you do, you must be distinguishable, you must be different from a criminal and a vigilante. And I simplify it deliberately. And I say, in the communities where you live, when you see a person with a badge of ZCC, you know that that person you cannot associate with the following things. Muntu anu yuala. Unwa tiye kama cheke, non-stop. And then ubetam kuku. You can never associate this person with criminality. Agir, how bona mewase apa? You can never associate mewo wasiaparo. Limutu oka monankara tameni a perisi aparo sa kereke ya wese. Kapo ya Sion. Why can't our movement be like that? That when you see an ANC person in the ANC regalia, you know, Norman, these things that this person wearing this t-shirt can never be associated with the African National Congress. Kibona mutu omungu waperi sporty, waperi t-shirt, kamu investigator, kamu kreya kwa mafikeni. Umo social media uetisa batu bakanandi taxi ubapalaka chelet. Sinyita sesikana sa chelet. Uaperi ANC. Batu bari SG tibela mutuo. Bali beti li constitution ba ngolla bari ki mutibe. Powers teki sinanto. Ka ngolla province karba muise DC. Because that behavior cannot be associated with the African National Congress. Uri mutu wa ANC kai kapakai. Akatloa aitweri katsila ya mutu o aitweri nkate. Ibe tsotsi fela. Eba palanga chelet. Hai tlhalusa are ki chelete ne ki lo gamble ka yona. Or ki chelete ki winneng michini. Kiri la winne muchini. Ukeba para diaparo tsa ANC wi tshwara ka rutsotsi. Oliver Tambo na bua ka batho ba tshwana kanang le ba hore rona ka diketso le metsamao ya rona re tshwantse o be le phapang pakeng tsa rona le ditsotsi. Le motho wa kereke ya ZCC una le phapang pakeng tsa hae le motho a itshwereng hampe strateng. Ha o ka batho utsuitswe strateng, utla batho ba strata ba dumellana kaofela hore ha ikona ikeke be ya ba Thomas ha ba motsibi le motsiba Thomas mara ba motsiba fela ho tsama ZCC unwa tie ka matjeke le bosiu and then o shapa mkhukhu a lwane le motho a no ywala o ke ba kopana le motho wa ZCC ya le ka rata amini a tauwe o tshwantse o tsebe hore a ye ke fly by night ke ka mokgwa o le motho wa ANC ya apere t-shirt ya ANC a tauwe a etsa ntho tse tswileng tseleng le a mo ANC mo batho ba inwella jwala la o nwa jwala wa apere t-shirt ya ANC tshwantse o nwe hantle ha o tloa o re futhumetse o re weso ke a ikutlwa ke monate jwale e re ke hae otherwise ke tla tshwanna ke o hlobola uniform e ke uniform ntho eo ha o ya apere tshwantse e apare ka boikokobetso le boikgantsho you wear it proudly because la o tsamaya ka hara santeng e le wena fela batho ba sheba ba re ke ANC ba o bona ka diketso or no man yes that is the way people must behave and mo ANC mo o tshwantse hape le tshwane le batho ba supportang club e kgolo mo ba re ke Kaizer Chiefs wa bona batho bao la ba winne mohope o le mong ka mora dilemo tse 10 ba celebrate e ka re no ke Christmas wa tseba batho bao le a ba yiwa le a o le jwang mara o ka batho Chiefs ya bapala mo ba dula ba na le tshepo e sa feleng o re ka sheku re lo wina le a ba tseba hore ba kopane le thaba ha ba imo ba sena tshepo ya hore no e re inele ka sheku re lo shapua ba ya mo ka tshepo le tumello e felletseng hore re a wina ka sheku le a ba juwe le ka o sane o ntse tshwana le ka maobane ba dumela ntho e sa tshwaneng le motho e mong le rona re tshwantse re be jwalo re tshwantse re be le tumelo re tshwantse re be le tshepo we must have hope ska ba ralla ikare ka bodumedi ho tu ska ba ralla ikare ha ona tshepo o lle o ka re moheteng o bollise le bana o krea o le raditedu ka hara ntlo o lla lo feta mosadi le bana o teng tatanyeu a o tla lisa bana o thudiswa ke mosadi ha o le monna wa sekgitla o le mong o ikutswe fela o tsebe hore wa tseba ke na le bana ke na le lapa mara ke na le tshepo modimo teng a ke re tshojwa le ane re tshwarwa ke makgowa ba re kwalletse la bene o nana re mo heteng utlwe motho wa I'm an atheist I don't pray a re kopane le makgowa kwa Bloemfontein ba re pitla utlwe tsotsi e mele re ka modimo teng o re makgowa ke tseba mpatla mara modimo teng e tswa nthong ena ya tshepo there is something you hoping for you exist for a reason even in the organization this organization exists for a reason it is not just for fun it is an organization because it is an organization that is going to liberate people that is going to change the lives of people for better it is the hope of the people when people have got nowhere to go they say ANC ya rona e re lahlile ha o so ba utlwa ba re ANC ya rona ha e re tsotelle ntate MBalula e re lahlile because why because ANC was defined by hope right from the inception and that is what we must understand hore ntwe ya rona ina le tshepo ene tshepo re kenya bathong ka ditsela tse rona re itshwereng ka teng ke ka o ke reng letsatsing la kasheku a re hopola ntate Mlangeni and celebrating 100 years 100 years of his life we must understand what we stand for and where we are going So, comrades, I want to thank you for this privilege to stand here today. It is with a great sense of honor and privilege that I am afforded this opportunity, on behalf of the African National Congress, to reflect on the life of one of the leading stalwarts in the struggle against colonialism and apartheid in South Africa, the late Comrade Andrew Mokiti Moeti Mlangeni. Those who shared trenches of struggle with him will know that Ntate Mlangeni, as he was affectionately and respectfully known, was also known through various nomdikwere, such as Pesi Mukwena, Mukiti Mukwena, Reverend Mukiti Mukwena. This was because he lived through epochs in our country when being an activist was to dance with death. Ntate Mlangeni was amongst activists whose life story is synonymous with the history of our struggle for freedom and democracy. Therefore, to represent the story of his life is to represent the history of our struggle for freedom and the price many had to pay so we could be free. Colonial and apartheid repression ironically became the basic school that transformed ordinary lives in the workplace into political activists that fought for freedom and democracy. State brutality and socio-economic marginalization ironically became the catalyst towards its own downfall. Many young people who witnessed such brutality needed not to be taught of the need to resist apartheid. It was the tactics to be mastered in the trenches of struggle through the agency of revolutionary organization that will further sharpen activists to become even better leaders. Ntate Mlangeni was not a political grasshopper, moving from one organization to another, seeking greener pastures or self-aggrandizement. He was the embodiment of a disciplined cadre, the kind that we seek to develop through ongoing political education. He asked nothing of what the organization must do for him, but what must he do for the organization. In this regard, he lived to the full the clarion call by the former United States President, a Democrat, John F. Kennedy, in his inaugural address on January 20, 1961, when he said, I quote, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country," close quote. He was the highest level of loyalty to the movement and patriotism unparalleled to the country. Ntate Mlangeni passed on the 21st of July, 2020. He was born into a typically poor family in Bethlehem, in the then Orange Free State, today known as Free State, on the 6th of June, 1925. He lost his father at the tender age of 6 years. That had serious ramifications on his early life, as he had to depend on his widowed mother and his elder siblings. Initially, his family lived on a farm owned by a white man, where he was born in Bethlehem. However, after his father passed on, the family moved to a blacks-only township in Bethlehem called Buhluku, as the white farm owner evicted the family. The family later settled in Pimville in 1939 in the sprawling southwest townships known as Soweto, otherwise popularly known as Soweto, in the Witwatersrand south of Johannesburg. That is where he resumed his primary education. The young Andrew Mlangeni started school at the age of 11 in Bethlehem. He He personally took the initiative to register at a local church-run school where he passed Standard 4 in 1941. Having left school early in order to help subsist for his family, while still in Bethlehem, where he worked as a caddy in a nearby golf course. He later enrolled at a school when he arrived in Johannesburg, where he did Standard 5. He later passed his Form 3 at St. Peter's Secondary School in Rosettenville in 1946. One of his teachers at the school was Oliver Reginald Tambo. He couldn't continue with his school education due to financial reasons. However, he managed to complete his matric through correspondence whilst imprisoned at Robben Island. He also completed his BA Public Administration in 1979, whilst behind bars, as well as BA Honours in Political Science in 1983, both through the University of South Africa. He had intended to study law but could not complete his studies as he became immersed in the Convention for Democratic South Africa CODESA negotiations. In 1944, he met Ruth First, who was an activist and a member of the South African Communist Party. It was Ruth First who recruited the young Andrew Mlangeni to join the Young Communist League in 1944. By the time he joined the labor force as a worker in a factory in 1946, he was already conscious of the class exploitation of the working class, which in South Africa was compounded and aggravated by apartheid colonialism, to which it was intertwined. He supported the mine worker strike of 1946, spearheaded by the African Union under the leadership of J.B. Marx and Dan Clome. Ntate Mlangeni got employed at Jeffrey and Galleon from 1947 to 1955 as a printing assistant, a position that he used to benefit the SACP and ANC propaganda machinery. He did not need the oath of membership that stipulated that he joined the ANC not for material gain and to offer his skills and talent at the disposal of the organization. He had internalized the struggle for liberation and was by no measure or definition a political opportunist. The Youth League generation of 1944 under President Anton Limbede included leaders such as Walter Sisulu, Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, Mxolisi Majombozi, and many more. The impact of that generation on the life and character of the ANC was enormous. They presented at the Watershed 1949 ANC National Conference what became the program of action, with one of their own, Walter Sisulu, elected ANC Secretary General. It was this generation that had a profound impact on how the youth perceived political engagements. Hence, Andrew Mlangeni joined the ANC Youth League in 1951 and the ANC in 1954. It was during this period, from 1952, that the Defiance campaign was launched and intensified, defying all unjust laws. Ntate Mlangeni was therefore baptized into the struggle through radical and militant program of action. Even before joining the ANC Youth League or the ANC, Ntate Mlangeni was politically active in Rosettenville from 1944, where he worked with activists such as Joe Matthews, Duma Nokwe, Fats Ngakani, and Henry Mahoti. Some of these gallant revolutionaries were founding members of the ANC Youth League in 1944, who left an indelible impression on the young Andrew Mlangeni on the importance of joining the Youth League and the ANC. He later became the ANC secretary for Dube branch in Soweto. In Johannesburg, he worked with the other leaders such as Nelson Mandela, Elias Mutwaledu, Andrew Kunene, Alfred Khasago, Arthur Tlhapane, John Mutsabi, Obed Mutsabi, and Dan Klume. It was during this period that Professor Z.K. Matthews proposed that there should be a freedom charter to spell out the kind of South Africa that the masses of the people want. Consequently, within a year of joining the ANC, Andrew Mlangeni was in the forefront of building ANC structures. It was therefore no coincidence, comrades, that he became a branch delegate at the Congress of the People in Kliptown in 1955. From 1955 to 1958, he joined a state-owned bus company called Padco as a driver. But he had to leave the company on his views about exploitation of workers. Ntate Mlangeni was among the first to be sent for military training in China in 1961, following the launch of Umkhonto weSizwe in 1960. Sorry. This was alongside fellow combatants such as Joe Kabi, whom today we are bidding farewell to his wife in Johannesburg today, Comrade Joe Kabi, Abel Mthembu, Raymond Mhlaba, Steve Naidoo, and Wilton Mkwai. This is where he met the great Chinese leader Mao Zedong. Till now we just read about Mao Zedong. We don't even know him. Ntate Mlangeni met with Mao Zedong. And of course, many will also be trained in the then Soviet Union. Upon his return in 1963, he joined the MK High Command. Both Joe Modise and Chris Hani were dispatched from the country under his high command in the MK. Umkhonto weSizwe played a pivotal role in our liberation struggle, and its name is indivisible from the heroic struggles of our people. Our fight to preserve its name is informed by the need to preserve the legacy of those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our liberation. Those who spent long years in exile away from their families and took up arms to fight an unjust regime. Alongside Elias Motsoaledi, Andrew Mlangeni, and other revolutionaries were arrested in 1963 after being intercepted whilst trying to dispatch another group of activists destined for training as MK combatants abroad. This was the Zerust group. Whilst they were discharged for lack of evidence, they were again arrested the same year following the Lily's Leaf Farm raid on the 11th of July, 1963. That was the beginning of the famous Rivonia trial that led to the life incarceration on Robben Island. During the trial, Ntate Mlangeni told the court that, I quote, "Though leaders of many countries throughout the world have tried to persuade the government to abandon its apartheid policy, and although resolutions have been passed in the United Nations against South Africa, this was met with no result. All that the government has done is to reply to the people's demands by putting their political leaders in gaol and breaking up families," close quote. At the age of 63, Ntate Mlangeni was released from prison in 1989 alongside Walter Sisulu, 77 years, Raymond Mhlaba, 68, Elias Mtsoaledi, 65, and Ahmed Kathrada, 60, Wilton Mkwai, 65, Oscar Mpeta, 80 years, and Jaftama Semun. This was at the time the apartheid regime was preparing for a negotiated settlement. Other prisoners were released earlier, and the last famous prisoner to be released was Nelson Mandela on the 11th of February 1999. It was because of the tireless work by our forebears, such as Ntate Mlangeni, that we have today the Freedom Charter, as a blueprint that inspired not only our constitution, as finally adopted in 1996, but also the national transformation agenda over the past 3 decades. Yesterday at the Constitutional Hill, President Ramaphosa and other luminaries, Thabo Mbeki, Kgalema Motlanthe, and the Constitutional Court judges ministers, and many other important, notable South Africans, we were celebrating 30 years of the Constitution since 1996. Ntate Mlangeni fought against apartheid. He fought to ensure that the Freedom Charter informs the 1992 RDP document and other such documents aimed at transforming society. He fought to ensure the Constitution becomes a living document in the lived experiences of our people. He fought against corruption with equal passion as he fought against apartheid, colonialism. In fact, he rightfully believed that those who were corrupt must go to jail, irrespective of their standing in society. As we continue to forge the kind of future anticipated in the Constitution of our country, as an integral part of advancing the NDR, we are inspired by the giants who walked this path unflinchingly ahead of us, such as Ntate Mlangeni. I believe he would have been proud of the continued work to renew the organization in the mold of selflessness that this generation embodied. As we embark on organizational renewal and seek to build a strong organization, Ntate Mlangeni remains a lodestar that guides us in the midst of raging storms and in the darkest of nights beyond the grave. The ANC must honor Ntate Mlangeni by ensuring that his dream, that the Freedom Charter must become a lived reality of our people, is realized. That the constitutional injunction on healing the divisions of the past finds expression across race, gender, and class. In his name, we will march on, undeterred, as we implement the National Health Insurance, the Bella Act, and the Land Expropriation Act. In his name, we will march on as we fight crime, corruption, and gender-based violence. In his name, we will march on, undeterred, as we ensure that our local government is responsive to the needs and aspirations of our people through prompt and efficient delivery of service in every community. Our commitment to ensure that our people have proper access to water, sanitation, well-maintained roads free of potholes, electricity, houses, and efficiently run municipalities must find practical expression in implementation. In his name, we will ensure that the youth have access to basic and higher education, to acquire skills consistent with the demands in the economy. In his name, we must ensure that the economy grows and caters for all our people across race, gender, and class. We will redouble our efforts to ensure access and participation in the country's economy by the majority of our people, that organized workers are remunerated fairly and decent work is underpinned by fair working conditions. We are duty-bound, comrades, to ensure that women and children can walk the streets without fear and build safer communities where violent crimes as well as gender-based violence and femicide are eschewed by society at large. As we approach the national dialogue, central to the conversation must be whether or not the constitutional preamble on healing the divisions of the past finds expression across race, gender, and class. Whether or not both the private and public sectors demonstrate unwavering commitment to the society envisaged in the Constitution. It is our collective duty to ensure economic equality, lest we inevitably postpone the resolution of the national question. We cannot build unity on the basis of inequality and injustice, which are all relics of apartheid colonialism. Otherwise, we will be allowing a socio-economic time bomb that could explode at seams of all the defaults of inequality, those being race, class, and gender. In his name, we will continue to fight for a just world order. Ntate Mlangeni understood the meaning of solidarity early in his political activism, both as a unionist as well as a combatant of Umkhonto weSizwe. Therefore, as we navigate the geopolitical challenges of the world, we do so by walking in the footsteps of colossal giants as Andrew Mlangeni fearlessly. We are pleased that the province has approved the renaming of the 406-kilometer-long R26 road, stretching from Reuven via Zastron, Lady Brandt, Bethlehem up to Villiers, in honor of Andrew Moketi Mlangeni. We are looking forward to the official christening of this road in November 2025, once all government formalities have been attended to. This will take place alongside the inaugural district Andrew Langeni Golf Day, whose proceeds will be donated to various NGOs dealing with GBV and welfare of the elderly and children. This initiative is a fitting tribute to a revolutionary who was larger than life, yet remained connected to the poor and the most vulnerable. It is an initiative that would have done Ntate Mlangeni proud as we commemorate 100 years of a life lived in the service of the people. We could boldly challenge the genocide perpetuated against the people of Palestine by the Israeli apartheid regime because we stand on the shoulders of giants such as Ntate Mlangeni. It was another fellow Rivonia trialist, former President Nelson Mandela, who declared that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestine. Peace and justice are indivisible. There cannot be justice for one and justice for another, as acutely observed by the great Martin Luther King Jr. Similarly, our freedom is incomplete until the unjust embargo against Cuba is dismantled. Our freedom is incomplete until the Sahrawi people of Western Sahara attain their full sovereignty from Morocco. Our peace is incomplete until the weakest in society can walk without fear. Our peace is incomplete until there is peace in Palestine, Sudan, South Sudan, the DRC, Ukraine, Iran, and everywhere. The right to peace and sovereignty of the State of Israel cannot preclude the right to peace and sovereignty for Palestine. Ntate Mlangeni was blessed with longevity, as observed by President Ramaphosa. On the occasion of his funeral, Ntate Mlangeni was admitted at one military hospital in Pretoria after complaining of abdominal pains. He passed away on the 21st of July, 2020 at the age of 95. His life is immortalized in the hearts and minds of those who are beneficiaries of his relentless struggle for freedom and democracy. Ntate Mlangeni was a man of many accolades. He was highly respected by both individuals and institutions across the country and across the world. The ANC was the first to recognize his contribution to the struggle for free and democratic society when in 1992, the organization awarded him with the highest honor that the ANC can confer to an individual, Istwalandwe Siaparango. He was also awarded the Order for Meritorious Service Gold Class in 1999 by President Mandela. He was granted the freedom of Johannesburg and the freedom of the City of London in 2016, bearing testament to his larger-than-life iconic stature. He also received the inaugural George Bezos Human Rights Award. He appeared in the documentary film, quote-unquote, Life is Wonderful, alongside former fellow Rivonia trialist Ahmed Kathrada and Dennis Goldberg. The Durban University of Technology awarded him an honorary doctorate in education in 2016. Rhodes University also conferred him with an honorary doctorate in law. On the occasion of his funeral, on the 29th of July 2020, in delivering his eulogy, President Cyril Ramaphosa had this to say, I quote, "It was an era of tireless struggle, of sacrifice and service, of honor and integrity. It was an era of leaders who embodied the best in humanity. But he was also one of the last of an extraordinary generation of freedom fighters. The black, green, and gold colors of the African National Congress flowed through the veins of our departed leader. The struggle was his life and freedom his legacy. He was a product of the golden age of our struggle, when sacrifice and commitment to freedom was the only consideration that motivated leaders to be involved in the struggle. He belonged to an era when leaders were even prepared to die for the struggle for freedom, close quote. With those words, allow me to reiterate that it is indeed a singular honor for me, on behalf of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress, to participate in celebrating the life and times of a colossus, a giant of our revolution, Ntate Andrew Mukiti Moeti Mlangeni. And we wish to thank his family today for granting us permission and a platform to celebrate his life. We thank you dearly as the African National Congress for giving us this particular opportunity. He fought a good fight to the end, and his legacy live on. Amandla! Awetu! Mata! Kiaruna! I want to sing this song. Akitibi kawa libua Sesotho mo. Le tla e tseba na. E tswa kwa Eastern Cape. Niyayazi ne? Iramaphosa ngawuvele. Iramaphosa ngawuvele bo. Sebenzo mhle kangaka ngawuvele. Iramaphosa ngawuvele. Iramaphosa ngawuvele bo sibo sebenzo mhle kangaka. Iramaphosa ngawuvele. Iramaphosa ngawuvele bo sibo sebenzo mhle kangaka. Iramaphosa ngawuvele. Iramaphosa ngawuvele bo sebenzo mhle kangaka. Hurrying. Iramaphosa ngawuvele. Iramaphosa ngawuvele bo sebenzo mhle kangaka. Iramaphosa ngawuvele. Iramaphosa ngawuvele bo bonum sebenzo mhle kangaka. Iramaphosa ngawuvele. Iramaphosa ngawuvele bo mhle kangaka. Abanye bayangale. Abanye bayangale. Abanye bayangale. Abanye bayangale. Abanye bayangale. Abanye bayangale. Ndimila. Apa. Tegane. Amanda. Thank you very much.
Eita Fikile MBalula eita. Eita SG Fikile MBalula eita. Long live Fikile MBalula, long live. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Andrew Mlangeni, long live. Matla. No, thank you very much, Comrade SG. Comrade SG labored on very important points. To the extent which holding that Mlangeni I baptizing to Nyawitso Tugolo. The character and that Mlangeni, even character and the honesty, loyalty, every slogan with the ANC at the moment. When the ANC is at this shape, Mona Melinting, Isoka Batwanang, Libuitelo, batho ba tshepahalang, batho ba reng re tla itjarela sefapano sena sa rona sa ANC, re se behe mahetleng ho fihlela re bona ANC e leng good shape. Batho ba reng renewal ena ya ANC ena, dark or blue e tlo etsahala. So we need you, the front rank combatants of the African National Congress, in this period ya renewal, to lead at the forefront. Now, we really thank the SG for his input, and I think SG we are renewed as the region of Thabo Mofutsanyana. We will be propelled into action and ensure that we touch far and wide in the region in rebuilding ourselves, in uniting the region and members and supporters of the ANC alike. So, Raleboa whole. So, comrades, we are going to now proceed. Ka tlhompho e kgolo re fe ya kgethuweng ke lelapa la ha Mlangeni hore a tlo bua le rona. Ha re qeta mono re tlo kopa lelapa ke ba bakae secretary ke ba bakae lapeng for re tlo fa diko re tlo kopa ba lelapa ba kgethuweng le SG ho tla amoela dimpho ba tla ema mane be se ho khathwa keiki ka morao regional secretary a etse vote of thanks and then I will lead the announcement. So re tlo kopa a kgethuweng ke lelapa hore a tlo ga addressa kwano foramong enana e entsweng ka lebitso la ntatemolo wa bona, ntate wa bona e leng Mokete Andrew Mlangeni. Comrades, a re revolutionary song a la pantse le itukisa mano.